Hi, so this is Valerie Burton, and I am calling you, or I'm talking to you from New Orleans, Louisiana, as part of the Learning Revolution project. And today I'm going to talk to you about integrating technology into the classroom. So a special thanks to our sponsors and supporters, ClassFlow, Blackboard Collaborate, and of course the Learning Revolution. Go ahead, there are two of us in the room now, but put a little sunburst and let me know where you're from. And to find the sunburst, you can click right there. That way you'll activate it and you can drop your little starburst on where you are in the world. So I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. So we've got a huge distance between us, but I'm happy that all of you can join me. And again, I want this session to be useful. So if there are any comments or questions, go ahead and put them in the chat room and I'll try to address them as soon as possible. Welcome, who's this Beyond Tech, Jan. If you wouldn't mind, go ahead and snatch the starburst or one of the other figures and let me know where you're from. Drop that in on the map, and we'll get started. All right, all right, looks like Jan's left the room. All right, well, it's the two of us in the online world. So, one of the things that has struck me in the year 2014 is that our kids are online constantly, and we need to make sure that we provide them with tools and resources so that they can be excellent online learners and communicators. So with that in mind, this session is going to talk about ways to integrate technology into your classroom and increase engagement. I'm going to talk about Google Docs, Weebly.com, Wordle.net. I'm going to talk about EduBlogs, WordPress, or KidBlog as a medium for using student blogs, PhotoPeach or Animoto for photo movies, Twitter for class updates, Padlet is a way to gather ideas and other online resources, Smore.com for creating online posters, ThingLink for creating interactive images, and Screener or Screencast-O-Matic for doing screen captures. All of my resources can be found here at this bit.ly address. So it's bit.ly/30 students, and you can find a lot of resources there. We'll visit that site towards the end of the presentation. So first I'm going to talk about Google Forms. Google Forms I use often for presentations for the class or for other teachers or associates. I use the docs and the forms regularly in my classroom. You can use Google Docs and Forms for peer editing. You can assign your students to writing groups, have them share and revise each other's works. You can use forms, have students complete surveys or pre or post reading assignments. You can create tests online using Google Forms and have it graded by Flubaroo. And you can share information by publishing a Google Doc. And that's one of the ways that I get information to my kids often. So this is an example of what a Google form looks like, and I use this one at the beginning of school to get information about my students. So I asked them some of the ways that they use technology and some of the tools that they enjoy using. This is an example of a Google form I did for a pre-reading for Romeo and Juliet, and I used it as a way of getting information before we even started reading the play to get them to start thinking about the themes and the main ideas within the play. A wonderful thing about Google Forms is it allows you to tabulate the results, and you can discuss this data in class. So what we did was we did the pre-reading survey, and then we talked about whether or not we were surprised by the results. You can use it to check for prior knowledge. You can give a pretest. So this is an example of a post-test, a quiz I did at the end of a vocabulary unit, and I merely gave them a word, and then I gave them some choices to choose from to select the correct response. So it's just a quick way of being able to find out whether or not they're on track. Again, with Google Forms, it populates the information into a spreadsheet, so you can easily see which students, because this would be where their name is, which students said what. So you have an opportunity to see what reteaching needs to be done and who you need to do it to. Google Forms are really easy to use. You just go in, go into Google Docs or Google Drive, you create a form, and all you have to do is name it, decide what types of questions you want to have, what format you want. Do you want your answers to come in a text, a paragraph text, which is a larger text box? Do you want multiple choice check boxes? Choose from a list. Do you want it to be a scale or a grid? You have all those options when you use Google Forms. It's also a great way to do a quick quiz. You can run a script. They have a script gallery, and you can easily run the script, and you have the opportunity to use Flubaroo, and it'll grade the quiz for you. Once it's graded, you can see it'll populate another sheet, another tab. So right here I've got student submissions. I can see that I had 35 kids finish the quiz. This lets you know that it's running the script Flubaroo. And when it's done, I can tell it to, once I activate the script, how many points I want it to have, which one of these fields identifies the students, how many points we have per assignment. And once the script runs, it gives you a summary, so you can see how well the kids did, how many kids took it, how many scored poorly. It highlights if it gets, I believe it's under 60, okay, it turns it red so that you have an opportunity again to see who needs some reteaching. I use Google Docs often. I send out links through Remind 101 to gather information or to have them drop me some quick updates or assessment sort of information items. The next thing I want to talk about is Weebly. And Weebly is a great platform to use for creating websites or e-portfolios. You can easily do a class website, a class e-portfolio, a student e-portfolio, or a professional e-portfolio for yourself. Weebly's quick and easy to use. You merely add the pages you want, add a page, add a blog, or add a link. This is what I show my kids. If we're using this in class as an e-portfolio, I take a picture of the way I want their pages set up so that they know which pages to add. For me, one of the hardest things to use about Weebly is to decide on the design. This is my personal portfolio. I use it for housing my presentations. So Weebly is, again, it's free. There is an educator's account that you can sign up for. This here's a link, bit.ly/Ms. B Weebly. That'll take you to a special link that will give you additional bonus student accounts. It's a referral link I have. And to get started with Weebly, all you do is put in your username, select a password, put in an email. The hardest thing for me is to choose the way I want it to look. You can choose between a lot of different themes, personalize the color. Weebly's really easy to use because, again, it's got a drag and drop system. So all you do is drag what you want to incorporate, whether it's pictures, images, links, text. You can personalize it any kind of way you want to. So you can add your own pictures. You can change the color of the fonts. You can change the fonts. Okay, so you can make it look any way that you prefer it to look. You have the opportunity to really personalize it. So for me and my kids, that's generally the hardest thing, is to choose the theme we want and the particular colors. All right, so that's Weebly. And again, you can use Weebly for e-portfolios for yourself, for your class, or for your kids. The next thing I want to talk about is Padlet. And Padlet is an online Post-it note system. All the kids do, they double-click and they type in their information, or they can put a picture or a link to other resources. It's really easy to build a wall. All right, you sign up for your account. Here are some of the walls that I've used in the past. Once you sign up for your account, the only thing you need to do is select what title you want to call your wall, give it a description, decide whether or not you want an icon that's listed, or if you want to add your own. And the icon's going to appear in the upper right-hand or the upper left-hand corner of the Padlet. It's a way of personalizing it. You can personalize the layout. If you want it to stream in a single file line, you can do that. Or you can have it so that it goes in like a cork board, I guess you would say it. And wherever the kids click, that's where their Post-it note remains. Weebly you can use, Padlet you can use, again, as a quick way of being able to assess them at the beginning or the end of a lesson. I used Padlet a couple of weeks ago. I had my kids do faux tweets. So I had them respond to a story that we were reading, and I had them drop in comments or questions, concerns about the action, the characters, the vocabulary, and they dropped it onto the Padlet wall. With Padlet, if you'd like to, you can come up with some stems, some question stems that you can ask the kids to respond to, and all they would do would be to finish the stem, select the stem they want, and that gives you a way of checking their knowledge if you just started a new unit, or if there was a discussion in class that was going really well and you want to follow it through the next day for homework. You can have the kids post some questions, some of the comments that they had that they didn't have an opportunity to share. But there are lots of different things that you can do with Padlet. All right, so that's Padlet.com, and it is an online Post-it note service. Wordle. I've used Wordle for many years for many different things. These Wordles here are Wordles that I've used in class. These first two up here are examples of Wordles that I used as autobiographical sketches. I identified some information about myself, favorite colors, foods, where I worked, words to describe myself, and I used that as an introductory piece in my class. You can also use Wordle to summarize a piece of text that you may be reading. All right, this is a Wordle I used for Romeo and Juliet. I took the the prologue, and I dumped it into a Wordle so that we could examine it and talk about what we think the upcoming text might be. So you could use that as a way to preview a unit. You can take some of the text from Unit 1 or whichever unit you're studying and then have them look at it and decide, take a guess as to what they think the unit may deal with. Wordles are really easy to use. You merely can type in the text or you can copy and paste the text you want to include into the Create box. You hit Go and it creates your Wordle for you. You can change the font, the color, the layout. A quick and easy way to do that if you hit Randomize. Okay, you can quickly randomize it and have the opportunity to, and it'll just, produce various different versions of that Wordle with the text in it. So you can use Wordles as a culminating event for a unit that you have. You can have your kids select some of the important details from the unit and include those. I often do that, or again, I'll use it as a way of previewing upcoming text. But either way, you can use it and the kids can use it as a way of assessing their knowledge. Blogs. I started my kids off using blogs several years ago. Whenever we can get into the computer lab, I have them set up a blog, whether their blog is a WordPress blog, and we use WordPress a lot because there's an app for that, so they can easily download the app to their phone and they can post from their phone to their blog. That's a way that I found around the problem with not being able to get into the computer lab room often to utilize the computers and the laptops. You can use blogs to make regular updates about assignments, events, anything going on in the class. You can have the kids do that, or you can do that yourself. So my biggest project for next year is to have the kids take over full control of our assignment blog, and I'm going to have them blogging about our assignments so that anybody who missed class or anybody who's interested in what's going on in my class will have the opportunity to see what the kids have posted about the work that we're doing in class. Blogs can be used to collaborate with other people from within the class, within the school, or around the world. Comment for Kids is a hashtag, a Twitter hashtag that teachers can use or students can use to gain traffic to their blogs. I think one of the important things about blogging is for the kids to feel as though they do actually have an audience and that people are making comments. Here's an example of one of the blogs my kids did several years ago. This is using KidBlog. So one of the questions I get a lot of times is about what platform to use. So if you've got elementary school or middle school, you might want to think about using KidBlog. KidBlog allows the teacher to have full control over the blog, and each kid has its individual, each student has his or her own individual blog, but the teacher, for the most part, maintains full control. You can do the same sort of thing with EduBlogs. You can set up a class account and then have the kids set up student accounts. I teach high school, so my 11th and 12th graders, I try to make sure that they set up their own blog so that they can take it with them when they leave. So this is what the dashboard for KidBlog looks like. Or not the dashboard, but the arrival page. Right here are all of the different student blogs, and all you'd have to do would be to click that one of the links and it would take you directly to the student blogs. Here's a screenshot of an assignment blog that I use in class, and I try to make sure I publish updates about the things that we're doing in class. again, to make sure that if anybody has missed a day, they're absent, or they're late, or they're having problems following along what's going on in class, they've got the information posted on the blog that they can revisit. And again, like I said, I'm going to have my kids take more control this year over the blog and have them next year and have them do most of the posting. What I do in class is sometimes I may give them a prompt and then have them respond. So these are all student responses to a prompt I gave them, and I asked them to create a 4x4. And a 4x4 is a way of creating a response in which you've got 4 lines of text and each line consists of 4 words. So this is an example of comments that kids left me on the class blog. You can use the blog for personal student reflections. Okay, you can have them do a synopsis of a reading. You can have them answer their own key questions or have them answer questions that you've prompted. There are lots of different things that you can do with blogs. You can embed pictures on there, videos, audio clips. So blogs are a really good tool to use and resource to use in class. The next tool or resource I want to talk about is PhotoPeach, and I should have put PhotoPeach/Animoto. Both of them are very easy websites to use to assist the kids in creating digital stories. For both of them, all you do is upload the photos you want to use, put them in the correct order you want them to appear in, put some captions for the pictures. So this is a storyboarder, the dashboard view of a PhotoPeach I did for a story that we read in class, Thank You, Ma'am. And I just quickly did a PhotoPeach digital story to summarize some of the action and main idea in the story. That's another great way of assessing whether or not the kids got whatever your topic is, whether it's a foreign language, whether it's music, whether it's math, science, social studies. It doesn't really matter the discipline. If you give them a topic, they can find some pictures that illustrate it or create pictures that illustrate it, or if you assign them to a text and you tell them to create their own response to the text. There are a lot of different things you can do. I fell in love with PhotoPeach with one of my ADD kids. They did not focus in class until I had them do a digital story, and we might have been together for a month and a half. And Alexander constantly walked around, constantly. But when I gave them the opportunity to do the digital story using PhotoPeach, he sat there, he was engaged, and he created a decent piece. I was extremely pleased with what he came up with. So that's PhotoPeach. Animoto's the same setup. With Animoto, though, you can upload video clips. I believe the video clips have to be less than 10 seconds. So you can put screenshots. You can put different images or photos. You can have them create PowerPoints and then save those PowerPoints as JPG slides and upload those into the digital story. And like I said with Animoto, you can also include some quick clips, video clips, and it'll mash all of that together and give you your final video. The next thing I want to talk about is Twitter, and I love Twitter, yay! Every new resource that I've used in the classroom for the last 4 or 5 years, I got from Twitter, a link that I got from someone in my Twitter sphere. With Twitter, you can send updates that are 140 characters or less. It allows you to participate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in whatever your subject matter may be. So one of the things to do is you find some people who you admire, see who they may be following, follow those people, and you can lurk on Twitter. And lurking means that you read the tweets that come across the screen. You don't necessarily need to tweet anything out at first until you feel comfortable with it, because Twitter does take some people it takes a little bit of time to warm up to it. But again, everything that I've done in class, I got from Twitter. So ways that you can use it in your class, or you can have your kids use it. You can have them tweet class updates. You can have them contribute to back channel discussions. You can post videos and pictures. You can post links that they'll need to see that enhance the textbook. You can have them post as a character. You can have them work on thesis statements and have them format a thesis sentence or a thesis statement as a tweet, and you can get discussion going around that. It's really easy to use. Again, one of the hardest things comes to me with the personalization of everything. You have to select your username and your Twitter handle. For me, I chose Miss B is Online, and I chose that because, in all honesty, I couldn't come up with anything else that was creative for myself. My name is Burton. I'm Miss B. I'm online. You know, so Miss B is Online. But figure out what name you want for yourself. Make sure you kind of keep it professional. We are educators. You really don't want it to be, I don't know, Candy Crush Baby Girl or something like that. You want it to be something professional that you're not embarrassed sharing with everybody. So my kids used Twitter in the classroom. This assignment is from Beowulf, and I had my kids basically tweet out some summary notes or updates concerning Beowulf. This one was done by Sunithas, and Sunithas were really, really funny. So what I did was, Twitter is blocked in our school, so I used a Google form to gather all of their tweets, and then later on I tweeted them out using my phone or my iPad. So I just put her name, party at the meat hall, turn up, and I used the hashtag for my class, ms.b_WJ, and I put the student's name to give her credit for her tweets. So you can have the kids, if Twitter's not blocked, you can have them tweet it out directly, but because Twitter's blocked for me, all right, I had the kids submit it on a Google form, and then I tweeted them out. Some of the kids actually do have active Twitter accounts, and they weren't embarrassed to tweet out educational tweets, so they logged in using their phone, and they published some of the tweets concerning Beowulf. So I've done this assignment for Beowulf. I've done it for Jane Eyre. We did it for The Great Gatsby. And I like it because a lot of the kids say that it helps them to follow along with the action of the text, because they have the opportunity to blurt out their inner thoughts and opinions and get a discussion going. So they were able to engage more fully into the text. So that's a way I use Twitter in class. S'mores. S'mores are a wonderful thing for me. It's an online poster that you can create, and I have used S'mores for every new thing that I have done this school year. I've created a s'more poster. You can use s'more posters to gather resources for meetings or conferences. I'm at school, so I am really sorry. I, okay, I'm going to keep talking through the announcements. Really sorry. So you can create an online newsletter. You can advertise meetings or workshops. Also with s'mores. It's really easy to use, and I'm really sorry about the announcements. I hope you can still hear me. It's drag and drop. S'more is also drag and drop, and you can add text, you can add pictures, events, audios, you can embed links, a form, you can put a gallery. So the next thing I want to talk about is ThingLink. And ThingLink allows you to make interactive images. There is an education. You can, as educators, create an education account and have your kids, you can set up some classes. ThingLink allows you to take an image and you can tag it with audio, video, text. Here's the ThingLink I did for The Great Gatsby. And all of these different circles are different links or videos or text notes that I put on there. So ThingLink allows you to make an interactive image to engage the kids more. And the kids can easily create an interactive image of their own as a way of assessing them. Okay, really sorry about the announcements, but yes, I am in class, at school rather. Okay, so ThingLink. So ThingLink, the kids can select their own image, they can summarize a text, they can summarize a chapter. It's a great way of assessing them or having them highlight good work or interesting work. All right, I think that it's just really important that we understand now, with the technology we have, we can create our own media. We have tools at our hand that we can create videos, we can create audios, we can create a whole bunch of stuff, and we need to make sure that the kids are creating, not just listening to us, but creating information of their own, based upon what it is we give them. We should give them little kernels and tidbits. And with those kernels and tidbits, the kids should feel empowered to be able to utilize technology and the resources we have at hand and publish something of their own. A lot of people ask me, what can I do? How can I use technology or the media within my class? And I've listed for you I've talked about some of the things you can do. You can have your kids start a blog, have them make a s'more poster, create an interactive image using ThingLink. Piclick is another site that you can go to create an image and a poem to go along with it. You can have them create and then contribute to a Padlet page if they just need to do a quick online note sort of update. You can have them create a word cloud to demonstrate knowledge they've gained, have them create an e-portfolio, have them tweet out information, have them record a vodcast or a podcast of their own, create a public service announcement if you've got some project-based learning going on, have them write a play or direct a movie script or direct a movie. All of those are different things that the kids can do. Our students are not just consumers, they are customers, and we need to make sure that we provide them with the tools that are necessary so that they can go out and, I always crack the joke about the kids going out and taking over the world and that sort of thing. But we need to make sure that we've given them the tools that they can use so that they can go out and change the future and change the world and engage fully. All right, I want to put up the link for the resources. I've got a live binder that's got a lot of different resources that you can go to. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat box. But I do want to introduce you. Let's see if this works. My computer always goes really slow when I try to access the web. But yeah, all right. This is a live binder, and let's see if I can find a direct link for it. But the live binder that I want to share with you has tons of resources that give you tools and tips on different things that you can use in your classroom with your kids. Oh, and it looks like that link is not acting right. All right, well, I'm going to try to quickly log into Live Binders because I do want to give out that link. So I'm going to livebinder.com, and I'm not quite sure if no, I didn't talk about that at all. Okay, so Live Binders is also a great tool that you can use in your class with your kids. Live Binders basically is an online notebook, so it allows you to link up different websites and resources and links that the kids can use in the classroom. You can have the kids use them, create Live Binders of their own, so that they can share with you information that they've gathered about a subject. All right, let's see. Here is the link for the Live Binder. Hopefully that'll play. And let's see if I can quickly get it to open. Because I'm at school using the Wi-Fi, it may be kind of slow. But here is the Live Binder, and for each tab, I've got some slides as well as a video and some examples that you can look at. All right, so please feel free to visit this Live Binder. All right, often. I update it frequently. I think it's really important that I keep track of the resources and all that I use, and I try to make sure that I share those often. I want to make sure that the link I gave you is a good one. Let's see if I can add it. Here are some other things that you can use technology-wise within your class. You can have your kids create ebooks. You can have them do back channels and note-taking. Again, you can have them to reflect. Now also in this presentation, I gave you an example about for modeling, for do now, for independent practice, for assessment. Here are different ways that you can use technology within the class. I'm going to try to throw right here is the link for that Live Binder. I want to make sure I put it on the site too so that you can find it. because I want you to be able to go to it if you want to. But contact me if you have any comments or questions. Thank you very much for sitting through this session, and I do appreciate the time that you spent with me. Thank you very much. Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.